Hey there, my name's Hamid, and I'm going to create a painting in acrylic, and I will walk through the steps that I take to create the painting and discuss some of the things that I do as I go. And so I have the painting that I would like to make here, um, and it's kind of an abstract version of two people hugging or embracing with sort of a positive message. So I'm going to take that and kind of develop it a bit bigger and fill in the areas so it has a little bit of color as well. Uh, the line work and color will both be included. You can see I have a fair amount of paint on my paintbrush, so this way I can get a lot of coverage as well. And I'm putting down the paint and getting fairly heavy coverage. Again, I've got my color mixed, it's on my brush, and it's sort of a heavy body paint, so it's going to sort of keep itself on the brush, and I can just use that to cover fairly large areas. And now I'm kind of getting in closer to the shapes of the forms, so basically I'm just going to kind of go a little bit more carefully when I get close to the lines, and that way I can kind of capture the form. So now I have most of the um, blue area filled in, and then now I can move on to the shapes of the forms of the people. So now I'm going to create the tone for the people, and I will color them in yellow. It's going to be a yellowish orange. So I'm going to use these three tones to color in the people, and it's going to be a yellow medium, magenta, and it's going to be Naples hue. So these are the three colors that I'm using. Hopefully you can see them. These three colors. And it's a medium-sized paintbrush. So that one's a size 18. So now I've got the color that I want, and again, I'm filling up my brush quite heavily with it so that I can get lots of coverage. And this is acrylic, so it will dry fairly quickly. So you can see now it's starting to take shape, and you can kind of get a better sense of the forms. And I'm going to continue with painting the figures and kind of creating the overall spots for the paint. And because these colors are on the opposite ends of the color wheel, they have a bit of contrast, so you can see through from one color to the next. So now you can see that I'm most of the way through kind of filling in these forms, and you can start to get a sense of depth when you look at the forms. So I'll just show the painting from a little bit closer. So the palette is relatively simple. It's two tones, but they're kind of a combination of multiple colors. So then you start to kind of see how it looks all together. So you can see the forms are starting to come out in the painting, and I've kind of uh, given an overall tone to the background, to the people, and this this painting in general is relatively simple in the sense that it's capturing forms and a concept rather than too much detail. But in that sense, it becomes sort of universal and perhaps it can be relatable, from different points of perspective, as it's not specific to one person or culture or a type of background. So that's kind of part of the idea behind this painting. So as you can see, the painting has sort of taken its form now, and you can see the figures within there. And generally, I find I gravitate towards paintings that have a little bit of texture, and you can see the brushwork, and you can see a little bit of the paint beneath the layers, so you get a sense of layers and depth. And so that's sort of what I've tried to create here. And again, this is sort of a simple but painting in the sense that it's capturing a concept through form, line work, and colors. And really, I had an idea beforehand of what I wanted to communicate, and then basically I went with the paint and executed it. So, of course, with like with any painting, you can keep going. You can really keep developing and keep on adding highlights and color and shade. And in this case, I think that it's kind of achieved what I wanted it to do. So I'm happy with it, and yeah, I would like to leave it as is. And again, yeah, I like the texture, and there's definitely ways to continue with a painting like this further, and I could add highlights and lowlights, and in this case, I think that it captures the concept. So that's where the painting is, and I'm happy with it. And thank you for watching, and I appreciate it. So you can see the painting on the right was the original concept and drawing that I had done with the line work, and the one in the left is sort of showing that painting done with the areas colored in, blocked in with colors. And I've used the blue and sort of a orangey red because they contrast with one another, and they're on opposite sides of the color spectrum, so they stand out in terms of foreground and background. And this is something that you can do as well if you have sort of an outline or silhouette that you like. You can kind of simplify it. So as you can see, I've simplified the forms of the arms, the legs, and kind of brought them together and completed the colors with the painting.